Have you ever spent hours drawing something, and it still somehow looks flat? Like the colors are okay, the sketch is okay, but something feels off. Most of the time, the problem isn't anatomy. It's light and shadow, and honestly, when I first started digital art, shading felt super confusing. Every tutorial used complicated terms and random spheres. So in this video, I'm going to explain light and shadow in the simplest, most human way possible, like how I actually think about it while drawing. What light actually does. Light is basically what tells us the shape of an object. Without light, everything would look flat. Think of your drawing like a real object sitting in a room. The side facing the light becomes brighter. The side facing away becomes darker. That's literally the foundation of shading. A lot of beginner artists try to shade randomly because they're thinking, I need to add dark colors, but instead, ask yourself, where is the light coming from? That one question fixes half your shading problems. If the light is coming from the top, then the top planes catch more light. If it's from the side, one side becomes bright and the opposite side falls into shadow. Your shadows should always follow the light source, not vibes. The 5 basic parts of shading. Okay, this part sounds technical, but I promise it's actually simple. Most shading can be broken into 5 basic parts. 1. Light area, the part directly hit by light. Usually the brightest area. R. Midtones, the transition between light and shadow. This is where forms start turning away from the light. Sen. Core shadow, the darkest part of the object itself. Not because light doesn't exist there, but because the form turns away from the light. 4. Cast shadow. This is the shadow the object creates onto another surface, like a nose shadow on a face, or a cup shadow on a table. 5. Bounce light. This is the tiny bit of light reflecting back into the shadows, and honestly, adding bounce light instantly makes art feel more realistic. It's subtle, don't overdo it, but it makes a huge difference. Why beginners struggle with shadows? One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is using black foreshadows. Real shadows usually have color. If your lighting is warm, your shadows often become cooler. And if your lighting is cool, your shadows can become warmer. That color contrast is what makes paintings feel alive. Another mistake is making every shadow equally dark. That flattens the drawing. Some edges should be softer, some shadows should be lighter, some areas should barely have shadow at all. Think of shading like controlling focus, not just filling areas with darkness. Easy lighting setups for beginners. Front lighting. Front lighting is the easiest. Everything is visible, but it can look flat if overused. Side lighting. Side lighting creates stronger contrast and more dramatic shadows. This is amazing for portraits. Backlighting. Backlighting creates silhouettes and glowing edges. It looks cinematic but can be harder for beginners. Top lighting. Top lighting creates shadows under the eyes, nose, and chin. It's great for moodier art. My personal shading process. Here's how I personally shade my digital art. And honestly, I keep it really simple. First, I pick one light source, not 5, not random glowing effects everywhere, just one clear direction. Then I separate the drawing into 2 big shapes, light and shadow. At this stage, I ignore details. I only focus on making the form readable. After that, I soften some edges. Because not every shadow has a sharp line. Then I add smaller details like reflected light, highlights, ambient shadows, color variation. And the final step? I zoom out a lot. Because if the lighting only looks good when zoomed in, it probably needs fixing. How to practice light and shadow faster. You honestly don't need expensive brushes or super realistic rendering skills. The fastest way to improve lighting is observation. Study real photos. Pause movies. Look at how sunlight hits faces. Look at shadows in your own room. In one exercise I really recommend. Paint objects using only 3 values: light, midtone, shadow. No details. No fancy rendering. If your art still reads clearly with only 3 values. Learning light and shadow takes time. Your lighting is probably working. Even experienced artists still study it constantly. So don't feel discouraged if your shading looks awkward right now. That's normal. The important thing is training your eyes to understand how light behaves. Because once you understand that, your art starts feeling more alive automatically. And if this video helped you, comment what art topic you want next. Maybe anatomy, color theory, or how to make digital art look less muddy. And yeah, thanks for watching.